Hello everybody, here we are tonight talking about Alex Ovechkin tying Wayne Gretzky's goal record and how the league likely avoided a little bit of a catastrophe. But before we get started with that, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So I told you guys I was going to get a video out tonight and I am upholding that promise. It was a little bit harder because my wife and I went up to see our families and we live about 2 hours away from our family. So that was kind of an all-day affair, but it was great. Today was my grandma's birthday, so I got to surprise her, and I got to see a lot of family members that are really important to me, as well as my wife getting to see her family members. And of course, we've been together for so long. Her family members are my family members and vice versa. So that was awesome. Now anyway, kind of circling back to the topic of today's video, Alex Ovechkin. And this is something that's happening sooner rather than later. I put out a video talking about how I thought Ovi was going to be scoring the record goal against Columbus Blue Jackets, just because, again, things seem to be set up throughout that pace. He had a back-to-back against Columbus, and the storyline was kind of leaning in that direction. His first goal was scored against Columbus. They won in the first round against the Blue Jackets in 2018 when they won the Cup. All of these things kind of culminate, as well as the fact that about the pace that he was on was probably going to be kind of matching that. But Ovechkin being able to do pretty well as of late, 5 goals in his past 4 games, scoring in 4 straight games, mind you, has set the stage where now you say, who is it going to be against in the next few upcoming games? And it nearly looked like it was going to be against Chicago, as that was a 5-3 win against the Hawks. A really good thing there is, of course, now there are 2 players in not sole possession, but in possession of the all-time goal record. And a really cool thing, but I think also one of the things that kind of rubs me the wrong way at the moment is a lot of these people that seem to be kind of putting Ovechkin down and saying Gretzky is a better player, yada, yada, yada. There can be 2 great players that achieve different things in their career, but Ovechkin is chasing the goal record. I don't want to hear you say, well, he's never going to catch up to points. This is a totally separate thing and a record that felt unachievable just a few years ago. And yet here people are, I'm going to use a PG word, complaining about it over and over and over again. And I don't know if it's just an older generation that is not trying to compare Gretzky and Ovechkin. The reality is this, 2 different players. Gretzky is, again, in the hockey Mount Rushmore. So many championships, so many records, all that, I grant you that. And again, some of the seasons that he had with goals is incredible. But Ovechkin to do it in the era that he's in with, again, I'd argue better goalies, bigger pads, and with so much more to kind of deal with in that regard, I think that it is impressive. Not to knock on what Gretzky did, but I think more about the durability of Alex Ovechkin, the fact that he doesn't miss games, the fact that he has been able to put together so many good seasons, even as he gets old. There's no real big fall-off. I mean, he's at the spot right now where if he didn't break his leg, he would likely win the Rocket. For the 10th time in his career, he would average every other season winning the Rocket. That's absolutely insane, and that's just kind of one of those things where it is a little bit annoying to hear about that, because this record is falling. Maybe not all of Gretzky's records are falling to Ovechkin, but this one is, and it is special. And I think the way that Ovechkin, or I should say Gretzky's been handling it, has been with class, of course, and it is great to see and refreshing, and I think that's how people should kind of handle this. A great, recognizing a great, and that's just one of those deals where we're not here really to compare, we're just here to say this is something that is happening, and it is amazing. But anyway, that is that, and it is going to be a matter of just a handful of games likely before Ovechkin breaks the record, if not his next game, and I think it's against Carolina. But that does kind of set the stage for something where this could have been a catastrophe for the league. And I'm not talking about Ovechkin possibly getting the empty netter like some people might be assuming. I am instead talking about the fact that when the Washington Capitals played the Chicago Blackhawks, this game was blacked out in a wide region. Now, I'm not sure how far out this goes, but I'm pretty sure the blackout kind of applies to Illinois, parts of Iowa, parts of Wisconsin, parts of Michigan, good chunk of Indiana, and maybe even in parts of Kentucky. I'm not really sure. But I'll tell you right now, as a guy that lives in Indiana, this did impact me, and I was spitting mad at one stage in that game because when Ovechkin tied Gretzky, I had to watch a clip of it. I couldn't watch the game live, and I know technically you could because, of course, you can try to do different things with DirecTV or just whatever it is, but I usually watch games on ESPN or on Hulu. I don't know, my wife's got like a plan through Verizon and it kind of works out well. We're able to watch a lot of those things where I am. And so I was just frustrated because there really wasn't an easy way to watch this. And it's just one of those things that really rubs me the wrong way because this is one of the most eventful things in hockey in years. There should be no blackout at all for something like this. I would say I don't care how things work. I know, again, things are set up differently with NBC, Chicago, or whatever it is. But this is just something that is so impactful. There should not be kind of a hindrance to this. And I was trying to check around and see. I'm glad it didn't happen. And again, I know there's probably blackouts that apply in different regions. I know the Blues are part of this. But this was something that is just too eventful for not the ability to have everybody to see it. And I'm kind of getting worked up again. And I think we'll be able to avoid it because the rest of their games shouldn't be something that is a blackout here. But it did really make me mad because that is a wide range. I mean, you're talking about bigger cities like Indianapolis, of course, Chicago, I'm assuming. And then other places, I'm assuming probably in western Michigan, in southern Wisconsin, I'm assuming. And if I had to bet, probably eastern Illinois. I don't know why I said eastern Illinois, eastern Iowa. It's a wide range, and it is unfortunate. You know, I did think back to maybe like a cheat code. It's not even a cheat code. But when I was a kid growing up, I remember being able to watch Hawks games at my grandparents' house. And I remember that's because they had an antenna. So I'm assuming that's why that's the case. I'm going to find a old antenna TV and then see if that still applies. Again, me being 2 hours away from my family, I don't really know if that still kind of puts me in the same TV range or whatever. But the thing is, Chicago is not even the nearest NHL team to me. I won't say where I live. My wife's always like, you could tell them whatever city we live in. I don't care. But for me, I don't know why. Just for whatever reason, it holds me back a little bit. I don't live in a metropolis. And it would be hard for somebody to find me if they wanted to. But it wouldn't be impossible. So I guess that's kind of why I say it. But yeah, Chicago is not even the nearest NHL team to me. And I can't watch Hawks games. And it's very frustrating. And normally I'm just like, oh, it's frustrating because I want to watch Chicago play as a younger team. And you have to watch a little bit more clips or whatnot. But this was something massive. And again, catastrophe avoided. And maybe I'm just complaining and somebody's going to say, chalk up the money. But the reality is, especially right now, I'm not chalking up any money to watch Chicago games for whatever price it would be when they are a bottom feeder in the league. I've been able to watch, I think, a couple games. I don't even remember why. It's because I think they put them on ESPN for whatever reason, whatever it was. But again, circling back to this, momentous occasions like this where literally ESPN is actually invested in hockey for once, not just, oh, we're going to put out the games, but also we're going to cover it on our platforms, and having the Overcast thing is where you just kind of circle back to it and say, we have to make this accessible for everybody. And I'm not just talking about, oh, this because it's me. I'm talking about everywhere. I don't know how these blackouts affect everybody. But again, I know some teams, again, in some regions, you're not going to be able to watch because, again, they want you to pay to watch in that area. But, I mean, will we ever see somebody break this record? I don't know. I mean, we're looking at Ovechkin possibly having the ability to score 950 goals if he stuck around. Granted, we're hearing rumors about him possibly retiring after next season. But if he wanted to stick around, I'm not saying that he'd do it. But 1,000 goals, if he had a strong season next year and then was able to keep it up for like a couple more years at just an alright pace, it would be possible if he kind of just kept sticking around. So that's one of those deals where, I don't know. I mean, it took forever for this to be broken. So again, maybe I'm just whining and people can get mad about it, but I do feel like part of the problems with sports these days where they say we can't get kids to be invested or we're just seeing ratings down and whatnot is because it's so much harder to watch sports than what it used to be. And I get it. They want to make money, and I want people to make money, and I want the athletes to get paid because, again, this is a sport we love and we feel very passionate about. But when you've just got games that are split off in different directions, and it's not just hockey, I mean, this is sports across the board, it is such a challenge to stay kind of invested in your own teams. And I know a lot of us are a little bit more invested than what other people are, but you know, if we didn't have ESPN or Hulu or however this deal's kind of packaged together, I think back beforehand where it was a little bit harder. I was just fortunate enough because when I was in elementary school, middle school, and high school, my buddy's dad was obsessed with hockey, so he paid for the best plan you could have on cable TV, and we got to watch games whenever we wanted. So for the majority of my life, I've been able to watch pretty much whatever game I kind of feel like, and that's great. But I'm also understanding that I was privileged to be in that situation where my buddy was kind of privileged, and also on top of that too, I'm privileged now where ESPN has that deal. So if things kind of shake up, and I don't think that there is a new deal set in place just yet with that, I realize it's going to be harder, but again, we're kind of getting into a whole different topic. Ovechkin, 1 goal away from Gretzky's record, or taking Gretzky's record, sole possession for the goal record in the league. It's special. It's coming up soon. He's scoring a lot, and the Caps are winning, and I want to watch it, and I will watch it. So anyway, who do you think it'll happen against? What are your thoughts on the whole blackout policy, and how should we address it? Everybody, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.